It's no secret that the new live-action Snow White has been marred with controversy since the minute it was announced. From casting Latina actress Rachel Zegler, to the political views of Gal Gadot, the backlash on the modernization of the story, to the use of CGI on the Seven Dwarfs, this film has not been without its critics. But is Snow White really as bad as everyone says it is? The short answer? No. Born during a bitter snowstorm to a good king and queen, Snow White is raised in a kingdom that values strong leadership and an open heart. Just like the message in Mulan to be loyal, fair, true, Snow White is guided by her family's motto, fearless, fair, brave, and true. A little repetitive, if you ask me, but I guess a solid message. After her mother's death, a beautiful stranger swoops in to steal the king's heart, only to turn out to be a sinister queen motivated by her desire to be the fairest of them all. Once she eliminates the king, Snow White is relegated to the help. But when her pure heart finds the magic mirror naming her the fairest, the evil queen is eager to get rid of her through any means necessary. As Snow White escapes through the forest, she finds allies in the Seven Dwarfs and rebels who fight in the Lake King's name. Alongside them, she must find her inner strength to stop her cruel stepmother and reclaim her rightful place as the ruler of the kingdom. I gotta say, Snow White felt like a completely new original musical to me, and I think a lot of that is thanks to the soundtrack by Pasek and Paul, the EGOT winning duo behind The Greatest Showman, Dear Evan Hansen, and even some of the songs in the live-action Aladdin. They just bring this classic Broadway energy that I really enjoyed. It also helps that this cast is filled with Broadway people, like Rachel Zegler, Andrew Burnap, Andrew Barth Feldman, Titus Burgess, George Salazar, even Patrick Page. And while there are some classic tracks from the original animated movie, like Hi-Ho, Whistle While You Work, the majority of the songs are new. Each new song was memorable and actually served a purpose, and I thought this was one of the strongest soundtracks we've gotten for a live-action Disney adaptation. Rachel Zegler really brings Snow White to life with her soaring vocals. Like, she's unmatched vocally in this film, and I thought Andrew Burnap was a worthy replacement for the prince as the bandit Jonathan. They had a really sweet chemistry together, they were very goofy, and I like that we got to see them actually have a friendship that turned into something more. Their duet, A Hand Meets a Hand, was my favorite by far. I thought it was unforgettable, very magical, especially in front of the cottage with the fireflies, just very beautiful. Meanwhile, Gal Gadot does a serviceable job as the queen. Like, she was fine, but she can't sing. So really, what else is there to say? If you can't sing in a musical, that's gonna be a problem. Although I will say it was refreshing to see the evil queen remain evil when there's been such a rise of, like, the misunderstood villains arc. The visuals in Snow White are very vibrant, very enchanting, really taking you into this fairy tale world. The cottage set was really beautiful, and they did do a nice job of sort of playing on the dichotomy of, like, the magical forest versus, like, the dark, cold castle that has become that way because of the queen. The Seven Dwarves, in their CGI form, they look waxy, they can look a little unsettling. I do think you get used to it over time. You can see that they were trying to make them look like the cartoon. Martin Kleba was definitely a standout as Grumpy, and then of course, Andrew Barth Feldman had a nice arc as Dopey. Jonathan's band of thieves don't really add much to the story. They're kind of just there. And as much as this film, like, does update some elements of Snow White, the classic stuff is still there. Like, they didn't really change that much. Instead of, waiting for the prince to come and save Snow White, she is friends with him. They have, like, this equal partnership, and True Love's kiss does still, bring her back, but she's able to now face off against the evil queen herself, thanks to sort of the support of everyone around her. It sort of is like, it takes a village, like, it takes the whole kingdom to come together to, like, back up Snow White to take down the queen. All in all, I think Snow White does offer a fresh take on this classic story, mainly because of the new music by Pasek and Paul, which I really enjoyed. It elevated it to the point of feeling like kind of a different musical. There are some updates to the story, I think ones that maybe add a little bit more depth to certain characters like Jonathan, and I do think that they allow Snow White to become more of a leader and more of, like, an active figure in her own story versus just, like, waiting for someone to come show up and help her. But at the same time, it's not that different. There's still True Love's kiss, there's still, the Seven Dwarves in the mine, there's still, the mirror on the wall. Like, it's not that different. They could have probably spent more time fleshing out some of the supporting characters. Like I said, Jonathan's crew doesn't really add much. They have this huntsman that I think they could have done a little bit more with, because that is a kind of crucial role. But despite skepticism around this film, I think Snow White stands on its own merit as, like, one of the better live-action films. It's not Pinocchio, I'll tell you that. That movie was horrible. This is definitely steps above that. Is this the best movie you're gonna see this year? Probably not. Is it the worst? No, it's fine. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Snow White. Are you checking it out? Are you skipping it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Consider subscribing if you like this video and get even more entertainment news at popcultureplanet.net. See ya!